is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Of course, we're live every day, 365 days a year, doing our free picks. Yesterday we changed the format up here. A lot of positive feedback. Generally, I look at feedback and, I don't necessarily go for it one way or another, but I think we got, I think we kind of got the direction that we were looking for and probably the direction that we originally started, and I think that you kind of drift away from it. We've been doing it. We're first, so it's like, when you're first, it's like, other people copy, and it's kind of like you try and overload in other areas, doing Instagram garbage, and then I'm getting, let's get the hot chick, let's do this, let's do whatever. And it's kind of like, try different things. But I think, we go back to what's worked for us, go back to the basics, give out picks, and analysis. Because I think what happens is I think that, what we saw, I think, learned something from Ron is that, you guys want to hear some of the nuts and bolts that we know. And it just because we don't have, haven't taken the time to convey that to you, doesn't mean we don't know it. We know it just as well as anybody, better than just about anybody who's been doing it the longest. But I'm excited about it. And, we're going to use our full hour just like we did yesterday. And, we got a full card today. Tomorrow's a little bit lighter card. So I'm not sure if we'll use the full hour. We're going to figure it out. We're going to do it as we go. And Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. It was a great day yesterday and lots of great action. The Blue Jays putting the boost to the Red Sox once again. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I was 3-1 yesterday. I got nailed by that home run, that 3-run homer in Colorado. I still thought the Rangers are going to come back in that one, but did not. And it hurt, but it happens. The nature of the beast. Not going to win them all, but I had mostly dogs yesterday, and they came through for me. So, when you have dogs, you can always afford a loss more than others, and especially if you lose the dog bet, it doesn't bruise you as badly as, minus 300 favorite. And we saw a lot of the big favorites come in yesterday. And I think that was, to me, the most fun part and most beneficial part of the format that we've gone to now is that we can talk about some of these big favorites, instead of glossing over them or just taking the other side automatically because of the odds, and just kind of explain what's going on here. Because it's like, just because I'm not taking the Astros minus 350, it doesn't mean I don't think they're going to win. It means that I'm not betting that kind of money, minus 350, because if you lose one of those, it takes 4 wins to get over it. And I think over time on this show, what Chris and I will be able to do is we'll be able to show you on the betting tools the data that backs this up on what happens when you take these big favorites time and time and time again. And we'll be able to, I'll be able to set it up so we can go to the betting tools on the screen, and, Chris and I can actually just point and walk you right through everything. And it'll be really super beneficial. I'm excited about the way things have gone. Sometimes, sometimes you have to, you kind of have to bottom out a little bit to bounce off of it. And I think that, like I said yesterday, it's like I felt that our content here got a little flat, our coverage got a little flat. And I think now we're just going to crank it up bigger and better than it's ever been. And I think, we saw that yesterday, and the results were there to prove it. Both Chris and I, if you played his premiums and my premiums, you went 6-1 yesterday. Your one loss was a dog, and you absolutely crushed it. I think Ron hit his rundown yesterday. It was a big day for our premium site. I think, most people hit on their plays yesterday. Kind of, the favorite players hit, the dog players hit. Everybody's kind of dialed in right now, as just in time for the season to be over.
Well, and just in time for football season starts, so you get to shift the focus, try to carry that over to another sport.
Yeah. So, anyways, we've got we've got a full card today. We've got day games, we've got night games. We've kind of got a little bit of something for everyone. We got big favorites. We got some big dogs, that go along with that. And right out of the gate, we got a big favorite, Kyle Wright and the Atlanta Braves, on the road in Pittsburgh. And, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and, we'll continue to talk about it, is that, this is another one of those games where it's like, I like the Braves a lot, but I can't give it out as a premium pick, because to me, giving out minus 270, a minus 270 favorite as a premium pick just isn't something that I do personally. And also even giving them out on the run line. I know other cappers do this, and Chris does it. He'll give out low odds on a run line. He won't give out like minus 200 in a run line, but he'll give out low odds in a run line. I won't do that. I won't give out negative odds on a run line. So it's like, for me, it wipes this play off the board. I'm not going to give out a minus 2.5, minus 3.5 as a premium pick. I'll give it out as a free pick, right? I mean, that's what I do, right? I mean, it doesn't mean I'm not betting it, minus 3.5 or something like that. Just to me, it's not a premium pick. And I think that's the best part of this new format. Chris, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, this one was a hard one for me to get behind, mainly because, like you said, it's a steep price for the Atlanta Braves. And even on the run line, you could go for it, but the problem is we've already seen once in this series the Pittsburgh Pirates capable of hanging around with the Braves. But I think I'm going to go with the under here as a better play for me, just because Mitch Keller, he has pitched fairly well. It's just been a matter of, the Pittsburgh Pirates backing him up. And when you score 2 runs in the first 2 games of a series, it really makes it hard to even back an underdog like the Pirates at plus 1.5 when, the Braves showed yesterday they're fully capable of running up, winning by a couple of runs. They won 6-1 yesterday. Kyle Wright, probably the number 2 in that rotation. And, I think that this is just going to be a lower scoring game, mainly because of Pittsburgh's lack of offense, but also I expect a bit of a pitcher's duel here. I think Keller's going to do everything he can to keep the Pirates in this game. Don't know if it's going to be enough, though. So I go with the under 8.5 in this one.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I think that my wife's excited because she ordered some outdoor furniture, and it's actually going to come early as opposed to everything else, which you order furniture and it comes, these days it's like 7 months, So I think they told her like mid-October or something. It's actually coming tomorrow. So she's excited about it. She's tap dancing, and that's why she interrupted me in the middle of the show to tell me that. But of course, I like the Braves here. I just like the way the Braves are rolling, and I think last year we saw them, roll. But, once again, I think a lot of people, when they see just me in the videos and they see Chris in the videos, and we don't give the Braves in a game like this, and it's because it makes it difficult because I'm not going to be that guy. It's like, I don't respect the handicappers that give out minus 270 favorites and call it as a premium pick, or even, for their long-term subscribers or anything like that. I just don't think there's anything premium or value in that. And I think that you could say I'm betting that, you could allude to it, but I think as far as like charging a person for that, I think anyone could go there and say, yeah, the Braves, Braves are absolutely rolling. They won the World Series last year, and they're playing, the team in last place in their division or close to it, right? I mean, they're playing. The Pirates are in last place despite the Reds' horrible start. The Pirates have won. They're 23.5 games back in their division, 47-75 on the season. They've given up 616 runs this season. They have a negative run differential of minus 175. So, I mean, I just can't, in my good conscience, as much as I feel the Braves are going to win, I can't say, well, just because it's a winner, it's a premium product. It's like that's where I'm at. So I like the Braves here. I can't get away from it. And I don't think everything minus 270 has been iffy lately. Justin Verlander certainly didn't look iffy yesterday. And, I don't think it's in all cases. I think it's in a lot of cases, and it has nothing to do with, the favorite or the odds or anything like that. It's the matchup in general and just some public misconception. I think a lot of it has been in San Diego last week against the Nationals, those first 2 games of that series. I mean, you could look at the odds in that. But we'll get to the Nationals and the Padres in their own respective games later on. But we'll move on from this game. Anything else you want to add on this, Chris?
No, I think this one's a tough one, and sometimes I always have trouble with the early action on the board. And this is one of those games where I just couldn't find a side to really get comfortable on.
Yeah, we go to Detroit, and the Tigers are taking on the Giants. Now, yesterday Romanelli had as his, because I talk to the guys every day, and Chris and we have like a chat that we do, and Romanelli, and I talk to all the guys pretty often. I text with Big Al almost daily. I text with so you guys don't really see what goes on behind the scenes. What you see is like what you see here, and then you guys make some people make assumptions about my personal life and about how what type of person I am based on a YouTube video or a live show or something like that. But generally, I talk to everybody all day, all the time. I'm pretty much wide open. Most of the people that work with us know that they have an open line of communication. And, sometimes we talk about, someone buying a new house. And sometimes it's about, the Giants trying to hold on the run line with the bases loaded with one out in the ninth inning. And that's what we had last night. Chris, did you happen to see that where they were kind of like the Giants, they kind of controlled that game from start to finish? The Tigers didn't really do anything. And then it was kind of, they sawed down Miggy with one out, got him to strike out. I mean, he struck out Miguel Cabrera on a filthy 3-2 pitch that, straight guts to throw that pitch on a 3-2 count. But that was the only way. It was either you're going to walk in or run, or Miggy's going to smack one on you, or you're going to get him. And they got him, and they ended up covering the run line, So what do you think here?
Yeah, that pitch last night was absolutely nasty. But today, I'm still sticking with the under, and I might also lean towards the Tigers plus 1.5 here. Mainly because Logan Webb just hasn't been as sharp for the Giants lately. A 3.77 ERA across his last 7 starts. And it's coming off a start where he allowed 5 runs, 3 earned in 4 2/3 against the Diamondbacks. Now, granted, a lot of his recent struggles have come at home, and the Tigers do struggle to hit righties, so that's why I'm leaning towards the under as a stronger play. But Matt Manning's proven to be fairly legit. He's coming off of 7 innings of 1-run ball at home against the Angels last time out, and his struggles since rejoining the Tigers lineup have come on the road. In 2 starts at home since coming back, 14 combined innings, 1 run allowed on 7 hits with 13 strikeouts. I think Manning can keep the Tigers in this one if they don't win it outright. I also expect it to be a low-scoring game. So give me the Tigers plus 1.5 and the under.
I don't know. The Giants have fallen flat on their face so many times, but it just seems to me that every time we expect the Giants to fall flat, they come through, and then every time they don't, it's kind of the opposite day every day, right, for the San Francisco Giants. But they're running out of time. Yesterday was a day where they gained on the Brewers. They lost. They stayed pat on the Phillies, but they gained ground on the Padres. So, the Brewers and the Padres both losing ahead of them kind of almost gives you false hope that the Giants can do it. And I like the Giants to win the game. I have so little faith in this team that it makes it just really, really hard to get behind them on the run line. Matt Manning is a guy that I feel that, the Tigers, when we saw last year, they made that run late in the season. And, a lot of the expectations were there. Obviously, they have the manager. They have a guy that's won. He knows how to win. We saw him put the pieces together last year. And this guy can do it either way. He can do it with, building the team, or he can have the pieces and put them together. And we've seen him do both. He's had superstars, in the past on his teams. He's had teams where he's kind of had to build, draft choices and build guys up. So, not having Casey Mize and Manning in the rotation for the bulk of the season basically undid the Tigers. They don't have the depth. And then the Eduardo Rodriguez disappearing act, that didn't help either. But if you go back and you say, here's this Tigers team as they were, Casey Mize, Manning, Rodriguez, as your rotation, or Mize, Rodriguez, Manning, right? Or any of these, Rodriguez, Mize, Manning, all of a sudden it's a different team, It's a totally different team. So the Tigers still on our list probably for next year, but this year, man, I just don't like teams that don't score any runs. I can't do it. So I'm going to go with the Giants. Chris and I are going to respectfully disagree. All right, we go to Colorado now. This was a mess yesterday. I love the over in that game, and for some reason, instead I gave out the Rangers, who haven't won at Coors in about 100 years. But Martin Perez is having a career year. This is a guy that he's kind of been in that Andrew Kashner, Italian type discussions, in the past of classic underachievers. But Perez, he's kind of spent a career like as a journeyman, mid-4, mid-5, where there's always a place for these guys, the Drew Smileys, right? There's always a place for these guys because they can log innings, and you know what you're going to get. They're going to give up 3, 4, 5 runs a game. And you just hope that you're at that spot in the rotation where your bats are going to score that many off the other player. When you're the number one in the rotation, you're going to give up 0 runs or 1 run, and the other pitcher is going to probably do the same. You're going to have to battle it out every single time out. But as you move down the rotation into that 4 and 5 spot, well, these are the guys, the 4-5 ERAs going against each other. So the expectations of a guy like Perez have never been quite as high as they are now, where he's actually has had, this is a breakout year for Perez. What do you, I know, Chris, I know you're familiar with, you've done some Martin Perez over the years.
Yeah, I've done my fair share of Martin Perez humping over the years, but I do like the Rangers in this one. I kudos first off for picking the over yesterday. I thought maybe it would have been a lower scoring game, and just did not happen. But I do like Martin Perez in this spot. He's been far better on the road this season. And the Rangers have been better on the road when he's been starting. Still 10-2 in his 12 road starts as a team this year. They did start 10-0, so it doesn't take a math major to figure out they dropped back-to-back starts. But looked fairly capable. He did, like you mentioned, he did give up 2 runs in 6 innings against the Minnesota Twins last time out. That was just a spot where the Rangers offense couldn't come through for him. But I think they'll be able to come through against Jose Urena, who has a 5.84 ERA across his last 7 starts. And I just think this is a spot where the Rangers find a way to get the win here. Perez still allowing 1 run in 5 of his last 7 starts. I think he goes into Coors and helps the Rangers eke out a win here. So I'm going to take the Rangers in this one.
Yeah, for me, it's like I think I'm going to stick with that over. I just think that, we saw runs yesterday. I think both these teams are offense first, and I think that's the way they're going to be. We saw both teams slug yesterday, and kind of a little bit of back and forth. I think I'm with you though. I think the Rangers bullpen probably holds up a little better, and I think they probably manage it. I think they manage it. But we have a question: can I use the discount code on PickDawgz website? Yes. PickDawgz and Sports Chat, both. 15% off. AUG 15. Try not to beat the sales part into the ground on our shows, but yeah, we do have a discount this month. But anyways, I think I'm going to just dance with what brung me on this one. I'm going to go with the over. I think, if Martin Perez gives up 4 or 5 runs at Coors Field, no one's going to be shocked or hold that against him with the season that he's had. And at the same time, Jose Urena, I like first 5 over as well. I think it's fair to say, and I think, do you think we see Yurfie here?
It's possible.
With Urena?
It's possible.
Because both of these teams have really the top end of their batting orders are really could play anywhere,
And I was going to say it's also possible that it could be Perez that gives it up first. A quick 1-0 lead for the Rockies after the first inning, and then Perez settles down. So,
yeah, I'm looking at the I'm trying to get up quickly the Corey Seager home run prop here to see what this looks like today, because I think Urena and Seager is a match made in heaven for home run prop betting. I normally go to players list. We're actually redesigning the Sports Chat website, and you'll start to see some of these changes soon. And you'll start seeing some of the reformatting of some of the betting tools as well, at least the ordering of it. I like the look of the betting tools. I just think the ordering with the injuries first as opposed to the player props first. You guys will see that. I don't know, man. I just think that I think Urena is fully just capable of an implosion. It's like, so when we look at the home run prop here, let me get there. It is Corey Seager.
For him, I'm seeing plus 325 for a price.
Yeah, I got plus 360 at Sugar House. He's actually has not hit a home run in his last 5 games. So I think one of those players that probably do. He was on a nice heater. He has not hit a home run in his last 10 games for Seager. So I think he's due. We go to our next set of games, and we've got the A's and the Marlins, has been a real miserable watch. Chris, last night we saw the Marlins pretty much dominate the A's the whole game. The A's put a couple on the board to smack the underbetters. That's always the worst. It's like you have the under, which is always, it's always the unpopular place to be. It's kind of, it's not, I wouldn't call it like playing the don't at the craps table, but the under is generally the unpopular guy. And if you're an under better, you have to sweat it a little bit more than the over bettors because you're always in play, that you can lose the bet. While the over, people love the over because once you're over, you're over. And that's why people love the over, right? Is because it's the one bet in all betting that once it hits, it's like the game could still be going on and you're good. It's kind of like betting. It's even different than first five, right? It's kind of like it's the only full game bet, right? Where you can hit it. It's not like I guess like if you bet over passing yards or something like that, and the guy already passed it. But same thing. It's still a total and it's still an over, right? So it's still the same thing. The over in any way that you put it. So I've sweat out some unders in my day, but we've got Cole Irvin and Jose Luzardo going at it. And Luzardo, of course, formerly of the A's. And, the thing is the Marlins have a ton of pitchers. And when they made the trade for Marte, they traded away Marte, they had a ton of offers. So you have to figure that they really believe in Luzardo because, number one, they already had a ton of pitchers. And number two, they had a ton of offers. So they felt this was their best option. So while he pitched in the minors most of the year, here he is against his old team who sucks at home. I mean, I think that's fair to say. Suck factor at home. So I'm going to go with the Marlins again here. I just think I think every time the A's play at home, you just take the other team. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I like the Marlins as well, mainly because you look at Luzardo's numbers. Since rejoining the rotation, has had a couple of bumpy starts, but those two bumpy starts came at home over two road starts since rejoining the rotation against the Cubs and against the Dodgers. 13 and a third innings of work, 1 run allowed on 5 hits with 13 strikeouts, including, like I mentioned, 6 and a third innings of 1-run ball against the Dodgers. And now he goes to Oakland against an A's team that, A, like you said, can't win at home, and B, has lost Cole Irvin's last 4 starts. Irvin himself has lost his last 4 starts, gave up 11 runs in 12 innings in his last 2, and even, throwing 8 innings of 1-run ball against the LA Angels and still took the loss in that game. The A's just can't win for Cole Irvin. I like the Marlins to get another win in this one.
I think Cole Irvin is a guy that, here's a guy, now we're a couple of years removed from the trade that landed him in Oakland. This guy was in the worst, like where you find the worst pitchers of the worst pitchers in all of baseball. He was in the Phillies bullpen. I mean, He was in the Phillies bullpen, and that pretty much is that pretty much just tells you stink, right? It's like you're in the majors, but you stink, right? You're in the Phillies bullpen. I mean, that pretty much does it. I mean, I know the Phillies won last night, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I don't see it. But anyways, both in agreement on this one. We're both riding the Marlins and Luzardo. I think I like the price there, on that thing too. At $1.25. Go to San Diego, where the Padres 4-6 in their last 10 games, and things not a rosy picture. Now the Padres, while they're in second, while they're in second place in the wild card standings in the National League, obviously not going to catch the Dodgers. Right? I mean, they're not going to catch them, but they're in second place in the wild card standings when you look at the standings. But when you look at the loss column, they're actually in third, tied for third with the Milwaukee Brewers. They've played more games than the Brewers. They've won those games that the differential is in. But the difference between win column and loss column, I talk about this all the time, it is if you are ahead in losses, you control your own destiny. It means if you can win those games to make up the difference, then you win. But in the loss column, you need help. You need someone to knock them off, especially if you don't have head-to-head matchups. So the Brewers and Padres, while the standings can say whatever they want, in the Mitch book, they're tied. And I don't like the way the Padres are playing. I mean, I can excuse the Brewers, even with Burns on the mound, getting beaten up last night by the Dodgers. I can excuse that. But you can't excuse those Padres 2 home losses to the Washington Nationals. And that pathetic offensive attempt. Was it even an attempt at offense last night against the Guardians? It's sad to watch. And I got to say, if they don't get it done, we blame Tatis Jr. I think we put him at the top of the list and say, what would have been different if you didn't cheat? And we're playing as part of this team, because they are basically, it's going to come down, if they don't make the playoffs, it's going to come down to 20 runs, that they didn't score. That's what it's really going to come down to, because they play in a ton of low scoring games. They don't need that many runs. I mean, last night they lost 3-1. I mean, if you watch the game, they got stomped. But really the final score was only 3-1. I mean, they were never in it. They were never in it. It's hard to be never in it in a game which was 1-0, then 2-0, 2-1, and then 3-1. It's like it's hard to believe that a team could be so out of it that the Padres were, but they were. And I don't see how they. I don't see, unless somebody can hit on this team outside of Manny Machado. I don't see how they can possibly win another game all season. How about you, Chris?
It's hard to disagree with the logic, but I am going to go with the under 7.5 in this one. Probably lean towards the Guardians plus 1.5 here, because I like Cal Quantrill. A little bit alarmed that he only threw 2 strikeouts against the Tigers last time out of Tigers.
Yeah, but he hasn't pitched against the Padres. Oh no, I mean we're talking about elevating your game. We saw Savale, basically win the Cy Young Award last night against this team.
Fair. But for me, it was just, the names on paper will still suggest that maybe this is a Padres team with some talent. But like you said, the on-field product hasn't shown up, and I think that's why I like the under here. Blake Snell doing everything he can to really keep the Padres in it. He's thrown 34 strikeouts in August to just 4 walks, so he's not really giving anything up easy. I just expect this to be a low-scoring battle. I think it's 4-2, whichever way you have it going. I probably lean towards going towards the Guardians here. So lean towards the Guardians, but I think my stronger play in this one's under 7.5.
Anyways, if you're liking the show, be sure to smash that like button. It costs you nothing. It's 100% free. We're not like sitting here, we don't beg people generally to buy stuff or subscribe or do any of those things. But if you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to any of those things. And also, if you like the new format of the show, by all means, let us know in the comments. We got a lot of positive feedback yesterday. So as you can see, we're going to continue to build off that, and that's how we're going to do it. We're not going to talk about people that aren't here, people that were on the show a year ago or, 6 months ago or a week ago or anything like that. The lineup of the show, of the morning show, outside of me, and even I was off the show for a while, has changed 7 or 8 times over the last 2 years. So, I mean, it's just disrespectful to people that are here. But anyways, if you like the show, let us know. If there's things that you think we can improve on, well, let me know, but in a constructive way. You don't have to, say, I don't mean to be a jerk. Because if you open your comment with, I don't mean to be a jerk, it usually means you totally mean to be a jerk. You totally mean to be a jerk. One thing that, we know from being on here. Anyways, Chris, what are you selling today?
Well, for me today, I got my $15 pick-off play on the board. We said yesterday we swept the board 3-0 yesterday, hoping to carry that into today's action. So I got that $15 play. I also got my walk-off Wednesday MLB 3-pack for $40. That $15 play included in the 3-pack as well. Or if you hop on something long-term, I got a couple of bonus plays in Major League Baseball today for long-term subscribers. Still going to have some NFL preseason as well to close out the week. So hop on something long-term, use that promo code OG15.
I got my $15 big play. I have not put out another package yet, but I believe that I will. I believe that I will put it out, and more picks. I think I have 3 picks that I have in total if you have a longer term package of mine. And I think my 3-day, I lowered the prices on my 3-day and my weekly to like half price of what they used to be. And that is because I haven't been putting out a lot of daily packages except for my $15 big play. But yesterday I put out a 3-pack. We cashed on that. And, I have more picks. So I got to just take a look at things after the show and see if I have time to add another pick or two. But we'll figure it out. But anyways, be sure to use the discount code if you are buying. Take advantage of the discount code. Some people are using it. Some people aren't. If you're not, usually just means you're not watching our videos or shows because we're not advertising it everywhere. We're just, we kind of just say it on here. And like I said, our PickDawgz and SportsChatPlace.com, which I've been doing right for 15 years, have never been about making you guys sell something to you guys or anything like that. It's never been about that. It's always been about, this is what we love. And I think that, sometimes on the shows that gets lost, but I think I'm going to, my pre-New Year's resolution, so I'm going to make sure that it doesn't get lost, and that we're going to put that first. And I think if you don't, if you're not ever going to buy a pick or not ever going to do a thing and you want to support us, the way to do that is not what's your Cash App or any of those things. The way to do it is sign up for a sports book on our site because then we get paid. It's something you're going to do anyway, right? You're going to sign up for a sports book anyway. The sports book pays us to do it, and also they'll give us better offers to give you, and we can negotiate with other sports books that you might not be signed up to get you a better offer. So go to our sports books page and sign up there for a sports book, and that helps us a ton, So, anyways, enough of that stuff. Let's get back to some picks. Got the Mariners and the Nationals, two South American pitchers here. Jorge Kirby up against Anibal Sanchez. And I know that Jorge Kirby isn't from South America. He's actually from, I believe, South Westchester, New York is where he's from. I think he's from Rye, New York. So I just like calling him Jorge Kirby. But he's minus 320 today against Anibal Sanchez. And that is just a lot of wood to chop against a Nationals team that, the thing is, right? So here's where you start doing the risk reward thing, right? And this is like the boring math part of sports betting that people hate because people would rather just say, oh yeah, man, the Dodgers are great, right? And it's like, people would prefer that it was that easy. And why, we don't always take the big favorites, even though they're likely to win. So you look at the Nationals here and they're plus 260, but they're 4-6 in their last 10 games. So basically a 40% shot, they beat the playoff team, in the Padres and, they've beaten other playoff teams. They certainly don't lose every game, but 4-6 in their last 10 games. The Mariners are 6-4 in their last 10 games. Yeah, they've played, some tough teams and they've played some pretty easy ones too. And I don't know. I just think, Anibal Sanchez and, oh man, if you're going to take a shot, this might be the place. I know Chris hates Sanchez. I know he does. So, I'm going to say, but this is a guy that, even at this point in his career, fully capable of pitching a no-hitter into the 7th inning.
Yeah, we saw him, throw 5 innings of 1-run ball, allow just 1 hit, which was a home run against the Padres. So, hey, he is fully capable. But I just think that, and this is where it becomes unplayable for me, is that I think if the Seattle Mariners are going to be serious about keeping their push on, they have to take advantage of winnable spots like this. George Kirby, by no stretch a minus 320 favorite in my book. I think this just goes to the fact that he does have the Mariners lineup behind him. But the Mariners also capable of putting up a clunker as they did twice against the Oakland A's over the weekend. I would lean towards the Mariners on the run line just because I think the Mariners win this one by a couple, as well as Anibal Sanchez could pitch. But again, it sort of gets into that no play territory for me.
The Mariners play the Guardians tomorrow. They open up a 3-gamer with the Guardians, and the first game is a day game tomorrow afternoon, which is rare because normally it's the get out of town game is the day game. But actually, the Guardians Mariners open up with a day game tomorrow. And it's Marco Gonzalez, who generally will need some bullpen help. And Kirby, if you look at his pitch counts, he's only gone to the 100-pitch mark one time, and that was back on July 2nd. It was 94 pitches last time out. It was 83, 80, 74, 51. So people, betting starting pitching, This is what you're betting. 51 pitches, 74 pitches, 80 pitches, 5.2 innings. Kirby is a 5-inning guy right now. I don't know. The Nationals, they swing the bats. I don't expect them to back down anytime soon. I don't know. I just struggle with this one. I mean, if the Mariners beat them, 8-1, I'm not shocked. But at the same time, not at minus 360 with my money. I just can't. I can't get there. I'd rather either it's a no bet or the Nationals. And I think even reverse run line Nationals.
I was looking. I think you can also make a play if you're somebody that likes to bet the pitching outs recorded market, which is something that's becoming increasingly popular. You can get under 17.5 outs for George Kirby, so he doesn't make it out of the 6th inning at plus 130 at some books. And I mean, the way he's been going 5 2/3. I don't think he necessarily gets rocked, but with the way the pitch count gets up well into the 5th inning, he's only broken that 18-out threshold once in his last 6 starts. I think you could bet on that and get some nice plus money out of it.
Definitely an angle that a lot of people don't play, and it just seems that it makes a lot of sense. Just makes a lot of sense. I like the Nerfy there too. The Nationals have been straight money on the Nerfy on the road, and I don't expect them to. Well, they don't score any runs, and they don't. But generally, they can hold up for an inning. Even Patrick Corbin held up for an inning. Don't say that too loud.
I can't believe you said that with a straight face.
People will be like, "Mitch is saying Pat Corbin. Mitch sucks." Got the Orioles and the White Sox going at it, and man, I mean, I'm a White Sox fan, and the silver lining is that Tony La Russa will not be back next season. I'm gonna make the announcement for them. It's like, I love when they say, "Well, I'm gonna have I have an announcement. I'm gonna announce my decision. It's X and such a day." And I always say, "Well, I'll save you the pain. Here's the decision. Okay, Tony La Russa will not be back with the team." I don't know, Chris. As a White Sox fan, I'm just beside myself with this team.
I was gonna say we might get the same reaction from you that I got when Charlie Montoyo got the axe in Toronto. But yeah, I looked up and down at this game, and I think I'm going to stick with the Orioles here. I know Lucas Giolito does pitch far better on the road than he does at home this season, but I keep saying it. The books are waiting for the other shoe to drop on this Orioles team, and they're serious about making a push at a wild card spot. They're not going away. They keep finding ways to win. They got to a much better starter in Dylan Cease last time out, and I think the Orioles just keep finding a way to provide value for us. Listen, the White Sox, they do play better on the road, but right now I'm just all about the value that we keep getting with the Baltimore Orioles here.
At what point though do the Orioles start to become this public dog? This public play, and it's like that's what Brian talked about often on the show, is that at a certain point, I think Brian always abandoned ship a little too early, but after he rode the death march part of the Orioles for years. But, at what point do they become like a public, team that you want to just get away from? And we kind of saw it over the weekend that they're fully capable of being that team, when they played against the Red Sox. They looked every bit like, yesterday's garbage, Just not sure.
I think it's one of those roller coaster things where it's just like this team it's not like a Dodgers or a Yankees that everybody feels is a sure thing whenever they take the mounds. They stay on them as much as possible, but I still think that the Orioles just are one of those teams that people are going to ride while it's hot, get off when it's not, and right now it is hot, so you have to worry that maybe some people are going to start getting back on the Orioles, but sometimes I think it's just justified. I mean, you got to ride the hot hand till it pays off. If you miss a couple stops on the bus to get off, then so be it. You've made enough money back in the Orioles that, you can afford to miss one or two. But, Yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. I think you just got to keep riding the value here. The Orioles, like I said, they've proven that they're serious about making a run. It's not like it's just some flash in the pan like the Boston Red Sox were earlier in the season.
I'm going to just go with the over in this one. I'm not convinced on either of these teams. And, Spencer Watkins doesn't do it for me. Giolito, fully capable of a big game himself. And it's at what point does he finally live up to the billing of being a number one starter? I mean, he's not a number one starter, and I think that's been part of the problem for the White Sox. They got rid of Rodon. That's one of those things. It's kind of like an NFL free agent, where it doesn't really help the team that he went to, and it really hurts the team that he left. And that's what happened with Rodon. I think he was much better last year on the White Sox, and he has not helped the Giants at all. So, and I think it's hurt the entire rotation. I think Dallas Keuchel, I think they hung on a little too long there. Obviously, Kopech hasn't been able to hold up over the course of the season. There's been a lot of issues here, but, mostly just really bad managing and just poor decision making and failure to lead. And I think that, this year's White Sox team is kind of equivalent to the Tony La Russa trading Paul Goldschmidt for Luke Weaver. I think, while we talk about the great things that Tony La Russa has accomplished, I mean, he did that trade, in Arizona as the general manager. He traded Paul Goldschmidt for Luke Weaver. That happened. It really happened. It really happened. I mean, and it's not like they were trying to shed salary or anything like that. They really thought they were La Russa, just because it was at the Cardinals. He knew him from the organization. It's like he really thought he was getting the better end of that deal when everybody in the world, I mean, the biggest square Dodger better in America could have told you, you don't trade Paul Goldschmidt for Luke Weaver. Dumbass. It's just. Anyways, it doesn't even make sense, It's like, well, how about we're interested in Luke Weaver. Well, how about if you give us Paul Goldschmidt? Okay. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, man? What is going through your head when you make that trade? It's like, that's got to be. I mean, why doesn't that trade get called one of the worst trades ever in the history of the world? I mean, why isn't it in that discussion?
Because it's been so bad that people try to forget about it. They just try to forget that it ever happened.
I mean, Chris Sale for Moncada Kopech, right? That's like part of that. And they even got more than that for him. The White Sox, I would say, won that deal. Jose Quintana for Eloy Jimenez and Dylan Cease, right? I mean, that's a bad trade for the Cubs. But at the time, some of these things, make sense. But I just don't see Luke Weaver for Paul Goldschmidt. I think there's other players. Let's just take a look at this thing one more time, just to beat it into the ground. So the Paul Goldschmidt trade was Luke Weaver. Looking back at the St. Louis, so someone actually did an article on this too. It's the Cardinals, of course, website gloating. So Carson Kelly and Luke Weaver for Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, no.
Andrew Young was also involved in the trade, and he's played 70 games for the Diamondbacks with that 205 batting average.
I mean, the only saving grace of that trade was that Carson Kelly's been a decent piece of the Diamondbacks lineup, but
right, but better than Goldschmidt, better than Goldschmidt, because Luke Weaver, the payoff for the Diamondbacks was last night when Luke Weaver was pitching for the Royals against the Diamondbacks, and they put 4 runs on them. That was the difference. A wild pitch, a ton of walks. Weaver did. It's like, oh man. Luke Weaver's on the Royals. He pitched last night against the Diamondbacks. That was the payoff. Terrible. Sucks. Freaking Weaver. All right. Go to the Phillies-Reds. This was an exciting game, man. We're really going slow today. We got Phillies-Reds. This show's going to go longer than an hour. Who knows, man? This is going to be like the marathon show. It went from being too short to being too long. We've got the Phillies taking on the Reds. Christopher Sanchez is a minus 250 favorite against Nick Lodolo. The Phillies just 5-5 in their last 10. Another team looking for a place to lay down, but once again, the Brewers unable to really gain any ground on them after last night's debacle in Los Angeles. What do you think here, Chris?
Yeah, I'm seeing Sanchez against Zoik for the Reds.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, so,
well, that changes things.
One word, 4 letters, over.
Yeah,
there's not much else you can say about that. I mean,
TJ Zoik.
Yeah,
one and the same.
Yeah, 0-2, a 13.50 ERA is allowed. Yeah, six runs in 4 innings in each of his first 2 starts this season.
How's he with the varsity? It's like you have to wonder how pitchers like this are in the major leagues. How are they? How are they in the major leagues? I mean, there's not anything better than this.
Well, I was trying to figure out where Hunter Green is, where Graham Ashcraft is. I think Ashcraft's injured, or maybe they pushed his start back.
I thought the Royals had an excuse for Weaver last night. I mean, here's the excuse. Okay, it's late relief. Okay, their starter was injured in the game, and the guy they put in to stop the bleeding obviously didn't, and so it's late relief. So this is where you make these guys. You got to see what you have. See if he has anything yet. At the major league level here. I can see it, but this TJ whatever, no shit. He stinks. You stink, man. You stink. You will never be part of the solution. I don't even understand it. This is how Chris Sanchez becomes a -250 favorite. It's not Sanchez. It's this guy, Zoik. Zikes. Yikes.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the list. Graham Ashcraft out indefinitely with a bicep injury. Hunter Green, late September shoulder injury. Connor Overton, who pitched well earlier on, early September back issue. Vladimir Gutierrez, Tommy John. So it's just they're pulling at straws here to be able to send out a starter, but you can't run a bullpen game every day. I don't know.
It's just, the Phillies are on a bullpen game with Sanchez, and they're -250, and they have a hideous bullpen. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the over here, and there's no reason to even, but why do you want to? It's kind of like we talked about the Giants a little bit before, but I mean, let's be honest. When you see Rodgers come on the field, basically they say we don't want to win this game, right? I mean, that's the way it's been for the Giants this year. Mark Melancon, to his credit, has kind of, turned it around. He's a veteran, and he's pitched a little bit better recently. But, we saw, we've seen Rodgers all season long. You put him in the game, basically you say, I don't want to win this one. I don't care what the score is. I don't want to win. And I think, starting a guy like Zoich saying, we're going to just take this one for the team. We're going to go through the motions today. We're going to charge full price tickets for anyone in attendance. But I don't get it. I like the Yurfee. I like the first 5 over. I like the game over. I like Phillies first inning. Anything like that. Anything that's anti-Zoich. How's that? I'm anti-Zoich. Shirts will be made.
Yurfee.
You anti-Zoich bastard.
Would you go alternate first inning total? Trying to see what so you get over 3.5 runs in the first inning plus 12.25.
Yeah, we're not going to have a weekly college football preview show during the week. So someone's asking for it. We're not going to have it. So Ron's going to do a rundown on college football. Chris and I will do individual videos. We'll discuss games on the day of the game. We will have an NFL show that's going to be Jay Briggs and Big Al McMorty. I don't know if we're going to have no one's approached me with a college show. I'm not doing it. So if somebody else wants to do it, they can do it. Anyways, that's the answer to that question. I think it's at a certain point, I just don't have any more picks to give. And I think I ran into that problem last year when I did the NFL show with Joe Madden. I had already done all the NFL games. I'd done them again and again and again. It's just there's only so many times I can give out the same, go over the same thing over and over and over again. There's only so many times. I'm not an NFL analyst like these guys on TV. They only cover one sport. I'm an NFL analyst, right? So it's like they talk about stuff that's just ridiculous in the off season, and then in the regular season they say the same thing over and over again, at different times. Except when that's when they're not contradicting themselves. Speaking of contradicting themselves, Brian Bellows up pitching today against Jose Barrios on the road. Barrios is a minus 154 favorite. That's how bad things are in Boston. I'm at a loss for words in this one, Chris. How is the total only 9.5? I don't even see it, What do you think of this one? I think hasn't every Blue Jays Red Sox game at Fenway this year gone over by a lot?
Well, I don't know about every game, but the last 4 games, the Toronto Blue Jays have outscored the Red Sox 49-13 at Fenway. Granted, 28 of those came in one game, but still the Blue Jays just owning the Red Sox at Fenway as of late. That's why I'm looking at the Blue Jays here. I know Jose Barrios has had issues on the road, but his last road start, 6 2/3 against the Yankees, allowed just one earned run, 2 runs total on 6 hits with 9 strikeouts. So maybe that's a turning point. Who knows? But I think this is just for me more of a fade of the Red Sox with Brian Bello on the mound here. Last 3 times we've seen Bello in a starting role at 10.50 ERA, and any extended start here I think is only going to do more damage. I'd go with the catalog here. Toronto team total over, full game over, Blue Jays over, team total, or Yurfie, anything here. I like this to be a high-scoring game. The Blue Jays win.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Red Sox here. I don't care. It's a high-scoring game. I like the over, but I'm going to go with the Red Sox. I have to fade Barrios on the road. I'm sorry. I just don't know any other way. And, call me, old school, call me over the hill, call me whatever you want, call me, anti Blue Jay or whatever. But Barrios on the road, minus 1 as a road favorite, I'm insulted. I don't even know how you get there. I don't even understand how you can add up every other game in the world or whatever. But Jose Barrios on the road is straight ass. Straight ass. Let's look at some of his road performances this season. These beauties that he's had. So last time out against the Yankees was his big performance, and I think this is probably why people have forgotten that 3.2 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned against the Twins on 60 pitches at Minnesota at Target. We go back to Oakland where he went 6 innings and allowed 1 run. Congratulations, you and everybody else. And of course, the 8 run pounding in 2.2 at Miller Park. That one is pretty much unforgettable. I had the Jays that day. That was a Sunday afternoon game. And actually the Jays were up 3-0 in that game in the first inning. And 66 pitches, 2.2 innings, 8 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned, 2 bombs. Yeah, I really went down the toilet on that ugly bitch. Anyways, not a good day at the office for me. I cannot bet Jose Barrios as a road favorite. I don't care if they're. I don't even care if they're playing the A's at Oakland. I take Oakland. Anyways, go to Tampa Bay and Shane McClanahan against Mike Myers. So there's a couple ways you can go with that one. You got either Mike Myers from Austin Powers, right? Groovy. Or you've got Michael Myers from Halloween. That's pretty much what the Angel season has been. Pretty much a nightmare. Any way you slice it, Shane McClanahan, who I have really not been very high on since the All-Star game. So another guy tough for me to get behind, and at this price, impossible for me to get behind. This is just a very, very tough game for me, and this is one I will not be having a bet on. But at the same time, because of the format of the show and because of the commitment I've made to our audience and to this format, I have to still talk about it anyway. Chris, why don't you bail me out a little bit here?
All right, well, I'll do my best, but I will go with the Tampa Bay Rays in the run line. Just a straight out fade.
What's that paying? What is the paying on
minus 105?
Really? That's it? On a minus 290 favorite?
At least that's what I got it in at last night. Let me check again, but that's that was what I put it in at.
Let me see here. Let me check this.
Minus 120.
Wow. I guess at that price you can do it, but I really hate Shane McClanahan, so it's God.
I know, man. but it's one of those things where it's just, for me, like I said, straight fade of the LA Angels, who just look like they've given up. And McClanahan, yeah, he did have a bumpy patch, end of July, first start of August, but since then he's gone 13 innings, allowed 4 runs, 2 starts in each. He's had 12 strikeouts, has had issues with the walks, but I don't know. Like I said, this is just a straight fade of the Angels, in my opinion.
Let's take a look at Mike Myers. 5.1 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 home runs last time out. Certainly doesn't make me Randy, baby. God, that is just, oh man, this is bad. So the last 6 games he's been involved in, all out of the pen. The Angels have been on the wrong side of the stick, on the wrong side of the scoreboard. Really, outside of that 96 pitch, beat down last time out and that 11-7 loss to Seattle, he had to have taken the loss in that thing too. With that kind of pitching line. Oh, he's so bad, man. So bad. Oh, he did not take the loss. He came in, they were already getting pounded. So he's 1-0 with a 5.22 ERA, 29 hits allowed in 29 innings. So really, last time out really just paced him. 17 earned, 27 strikeouts, and 8 bombs. This guy gives up a ton of home runs, which means, Chris, where are we going with the home run prop in this game? I think immediately you look at this game, you see minus 290 odds. It's McClanahan, who I can't bet, right? And then you have, an Angels team, which, once again, I can't bet. And you have Mike Myers, who gets given up, a lot of home runs. And, he's given up 8 home runs in 29 innings. So basically every three innings he gives up a bomb. Oh, let's go right to the home run props for this game. There's what's Randy Arozarena at for this one? He's usually good for a bomb against a guy like this.
I've got him for plus 525.
I'm in. That's my bet for here. I like the Randy Arozarena home run prop for this one, and pretty much the catalog on home run props, because I think you'll get 2 or 3 of them. So it's like it will probably cover everybody.
Yeah, I'd probably go Arozarena. You go Brandon Lowe, David Peralta.
I don't love Peralta. Yeah. Huh. Just so many places to go with the home run prop when you got a guy like Mike Myers pitching. Speaking about home run props, Luke Farrell's getting the ball here for the Cubs. It's like late season call up bingo here. Luke Farrell. We had Luke Weaver last night as relief. Now we got Luke Farrell starting up against Miles Mikolas. This is. Where did we see Farrell last? In Cincinnati? Is that where we saw him?
Well, he hasn't started this year. Let me see where the last time he was.
When's the last time he's
seen him? He hasn't pitched this season.
No, I know, but when's the last time we have seen him? He's pitched.
Oh, sorry.
Cincinnati, right? Last year. I think he spent the entire season on the injured list.
Nah, the Twins.
He was on the Reds, though, right? Was he on the Reds? Different guy?
2017.
Yeah, that's what kind of mark this guy left on me. That's what kind of damage he's done to me. Is that I'm remembering a 2017 game. It's like, that's the type of stuff that my shrink has to hear about. You know, this is why. And people ask, you know, why are you like that? You know, why are you like that?
Let's go back to last season. First, the last time we saw him in a starting role, gave up 5 runs in an inning to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah,
and Toronto won that game 5-3.
Yeah, and that's why I am like I am. This is why I am, because guys like this. Because of guys like this. Oh man, I hate your guts. I'm taking the Cardinals. I'm laying 2.5 here. I like the Yurfie. I like Cardinals first 5. I like under on strikeouts for Farrell. I like all those things.
So give you an idea. My book is so scared of this game that they don't have any Cardinals players listed for home run.
That's the best.
They're like, nope, we're not giving you any of this. No, thank you.
It's like, I really don't like this guy. It's like, I'm sorry. It's personal. I really don't like you.
It's not me. It's you.
Oh, man. It's like, the thing is, it's like, the thing about a guy like Luke Farrell, it's like, it leaves a mark on you. And it's like, you don't remember where it happened specifically. I knew it was in Cincinnati, and I don't remember when. But it's kind of like when Michael Lorenzen walked like 7 guys in a row. You know, and it's like, the worst part about that game, it's one of those games that you decide you're going to turn it on in the car. You know, you turn it on, you're listening to it in the car on Sirius XM or whatever it is, on XM radio, whatever they call the thing these days. The only thing I ever listened to there, I listened to the music stations, I listened to the games. I never listened to any like sports talk or anything, and you know, any of that. So it's all crap, right? It's just garbage. Yeah. But it's like I listen to, you know, either the games or, you know, I like the stations that have it by the decade. You know, it's like 70s, 80s, whatever. It's like, you know, you go from like, you know, Summer Breeze, you know, Seals and Croft, right? You go from that into like, you know, Beyonce, you know. Right? It's like you get them all, but I'll tell you, Luke Farrell still sucks. And it's like, anyway, you slice it. I'm appalled that he has a major league job.
That he has a paying gig.
Well, the thing is, if you watch the Cubs on TV, like if you watch the Cubs broadcast, like if you have DirecTV and you get to watch, you know, you watch all the games like I do, and I don't listen to the sound on all the games. You know, I will switch around on the sound, but on the top TVs, I never have any sound. But on the main TV, you know, I'll have sound. If you listen to the Cubs broadcast of every game, of any game, every pitch, every like the second out of the third inning is sponsored by. It's like they have more sponsorships of everything than any team in baseball. So, you know, wheeling out a Luke Farrell, this is just typical of them. It's typical of this organization. This is an organization that they make so much money, they do not care. All right, we'll just throw out Luke Farrell out there and just pretend that it's okay. How is that okay? Just how it's like,
the audacity.
All right, Farrell's pitching. I mean, it's like that's going to slide under the radar. I guess of the average fan, maybe it does. People that weren't roasted by that 5-run first inning performance against the Blue Jays like I was. It's like I lost 3 dimes on the game. It cost me $1,400 in therapy. It's like $4,400 in. Nothing pretty about that one. We go to our next game. This is actually 2 good pitchers. Brady Singer's been pitching really well lately for the Royals. And Zach Gallen, one of our guys. What do you think of this one, Chris?
Yeah, I think this one's one where I hop all over that under in the first 5. You know, I just expect this to be a duel. You know, Zach Gallen just pitching extremely well. Hasn't allowed a run in his last 3 starts, spanning 21 1/3. And, you know, Brady Singer in the month of August, he did start with a rough outing against the White Sox, but in his last 19 1/3 innings, allowed just 3 runs, 11 hits with 20 strikeouts. So I think this one's low scoring early on. I'm just trying to pull up the price on the first 5 under. Under 3.5 at -105. I'll take that all day.
What world does Luke Farrell get the stuff? I mean, oh, I see what happened here. I get it. So he went to Northwestern University, so from the northern suburbs in Evanston, right outside of Chicago. So even though 31 years old, career minor leaguer, hasn't, stink. So in Texas in 2020, was that the shortened season?
Yes.
All right. So in Texas in 2020, he played in 4 games. He went 5.1 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 5 walks, a home run, 8 strikeouts, 1 hit by a pitch, and 2 wild pitches. I mean, what kind of stat line is that? How is that acceptable at any level? 5.1 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, a home run, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 hit by pitch, and 2 wild pitches in 5 innings. 5 innings, man. I mean, how many wild pitches does Jacob deGrom have in a season?
Yeah, not many.
Is 6 FIP for Romanelli fans out there. 6 FIP. Look at this Farrell. What's his career ERA? So in the American League, 5.28. In the National League, 4.54. Stink. You stink. So he was on the Cubs before. This is his second time. He played in 20 games for the Cubs. Started 2. 31.1 innings, 30 hits, 22 runs, 18 earned, 7 bombs in 31 innings. This is our guy, right? 2 intentional walks, 39 strikeouts, 1 hit by pitch, 1 wild pitch, 1 bases loaded walk.
Just trying to click on a page, see if I can get any pitching props for him. I just got a server error page.
He's got a 5.2 FIP in that year with the Cubs. What the hell's going on? What is the matter with this world? I mean, seriously, man.
No wonder inflation rates are so high. We're paying this guy.
Oh, man. Can't stand Farrell. Anyways, what do you think of this Royals-Diamondbacks? I like Zach Gallen. He's my guy. I think Singer's pitched really well. I thought the Royals were game last night. I thought that they got it. So if you didn't see the game last night, the Diamondbacks and the Diamondbacks left probably 15 guys on base in this game, maybe more. In the first 4 innings, they had 8 men left on base, scored 0 runs, and then they were losing 1-0 because, of course, when you do that, Witt hit homers. And then, they got into the Royals bullpen, and then Luke Weaver came in, and, we breathed a little bit easier. We wish we would have laid the run line there with the Diamondbacks. But Zach Gallen this guy's one of the most underrated pitchers, out there. Sub-3 career ERA. I mean, if you're on the Yankees or the Mets and you're a sub-3 ERA guy, you're -275.
Yeah.
But Brady Singer has pitched really well recently, too. Real well. This should be a good one. I like the under.
Yeah, I think the under definitely the way to go. Like I said, I think the under in the first 5, probably the way I'm looking at this one. I think pitchers go all the way, and Gallen not giving anything up easy to anybody this season, and I still have a little bit of PTSD from when he faced the Giants, and just the Giants could not get anything off of Gallen, and that's not likening the Royals to the Giants here, but if they have if the Giants have issues, I think the Royals are going to have some issues getting to Gallen here. I want to see how long this shutout streak could go.
People always are like, we've seen a lot in the comments in recent weeks, I miss Brian and whatever. I'll tell you what I missed is I'd miss Brian trying to make Farrell into a reasonable wager today. I'm sure he's all over him. Gotta be kidding me. I'm insulted. Framber Valdez taking on Dylan Bundy in Houston. King Kong Bundy has really got off to a nice start to the season, but he hasn't been that since. Framber Valdez has really done a nice job for the Astros, and the reason why the Astros have the best record in the National League or in the American League is guys like Framber Valdez who have really stepped it up. I think Javier and Valdez have done a really nice job for the Astros with McCullers out and with everything else going on. Framber's been great. He's been nothing short of great. And the Twins had it. They had plenty of chances to put it away in the American League Central, and now they've been put away by the Guardians, and it happened fast. When you look at the actual standings, the Guardians not really that far ahead that it's locked, but I would say it's a lock. The Guardians 3 games up here on the Twins, and the Guardians have a tough schedule here. They have, they haven't taken care of finished business in San Diego, and then they go to Seattle. So, but the Twins, got a tough schedule here, and the team that's really been laid down like dogs, the White Sox in this race. But what do you think here, Chris, with the Astros against King Kong Bundy?
Yeah, I think the way I like to go in this, so I'm going to go with the under, but I'm also going to go with the Minnesota Twins team total under 2.5 at +110. I just think this is a spot where Framber Valdez holds the Twins in check, and the Twins, like we said, they just look like they've run out of gas. You look at their last 5 games, 2 runs or less scored in 4 of those 5 games against the Texas Rangers and in Game 1 last night, and like I said, I think it's just going to be a low-scoring game. I don't expect much production from the Twins against Framber Valdez. So give me the under, but also give me the Minnesota Twins team total under.
I thought when they first eliminated the sticky stuff that it really affected guys like Framber Valdez a lot because he does work up a lather out there out on the mound. He works up a good sweat. But, I think since that time, he's kind of, figured it all out. And I think that's what we've seen this season from him. So I'm going to continue to just ride the Astros. I can't stand the price in this thing. Everyone knows that. But I think you can maybe lay 2.5, 3.5 here with the Astros. I mean, I'm not even sure. It's probably not where I'm going with a big bet or anything, but if I'm going there at all, I'm going to lay big runs here with the Astros. I just think Dylan Bundy's the type of guy, but the Astros have not really piled runs on, and that's also been part of the issue here. When we look at Bundy, recently kind of pitched decently. Recently, I guess. I don't know. It's hard for me to get behind a guy like Bundy. He hasn't really faced the stiffest of competition in that stretch. Go to our final game on the board, and it is Andrew Heaney and the Dodgers up against Aaron Ashby and the Brewers. The series, as bad as last night's game was, is tied 1 game apiece, with the Brewers winning Game 1 and the Dodgers winning Game 2. Heaney looked to have turned a corner in his career. It looked like he had found a new pitch and that things were going well, and then, he's Heaney, right? At the end of the day, it is Andrew Heaney. And then, we look at Ashby, and he's really not been very good for the Brewers. He's been a fill-in guy, but the Brewers, they absolutely need this one. So, Heaney pitched at Milwaukee. He took the loss in that game. Lasted 4.2 innings. That ended a 4-game run that he had of pitching really well. But we're starting to see his outings get shorter and shorter, and he's been on a short leash for the Dodgers this season. He doesn't go more than 70 pitches or so. So I don't know. It's like maybe the over.
I'm seeing Adrian Hauser, not Aaron Ashby.
Oh, well, that changes things.
Adrian Hauser returning from the injured list.
Oh, they're not Brewers for me.
I think I'm still sticking with the over because Hauser did struggle heading into his stint on the injured list, and even when he was pitching regularly, he still had a 5.89 road ERA. But I think this is also about we're starting to see the Andrew Heaney that we've come to know and love to fade over the last couple of starts. His last 3 starts, he's allowed 10 runs, 5 earned, over just over 11 innings of work. Just over 12 innings of work, and I think this is one of those spots where you just expect runs in this one. I know the first game of the series was low scoring, then the Dodgers poured on the runs yesterday. Don't know if they're going to be having a one-sided win today, but I do think the runs come in bunches today. So give me the over 8.5.
All right, it's Luke Farrell Day. You talked me into it. I'm going to go with the over with you on that one too. I'm going to go Brewers over. I'm going to do a same game parlay. So that's what I'm going to do. Brewers and over. 9 p.m. Eastern time start. So no real late night starts tonight. 9 p.m. Eastern. This is the last game on the board. All right. Well, we made it through our Major League Baseball schedule. And the show took us, way longer than our past shows have. But so what? I've got time. I'm not going anywhere. Got a parlay for us, Chris?
That I do. I'm going to go with the under 7.5 Padres-Guardians. I'm going to go with the Miami Marlins. And I will go with the first 5 under between the Diamondbacks and Royals.
I'm going to go I'm going Cardinals first 5. I'm going to go Cardinals first 5. I like the Cardinals first 5 with the San Francisco Giants with the under in the Padres-Guardians.
How could I forget the Reds-Phillies over?
Oh, yeah, Reds-Phillies over.
There you go, 4-legger.
How about this? How about a total parlay? Red Sox-Blue Jays over with Reds-Phillies over with the Cubs-Cardinals over with the Cardinals team total over.
Could take extended totals on all those, make some decent plus money out of it.
Farrell sucks, man. And watch him win, tomorrow. Something different. Anyways. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It was fun. I like the new format and appreciate any comments that you guys have about it or your picks. We'd love to hear them. Love to show them on the board if you guys have them during the games, during the show, and commentary in general. We'd love to hear your feedback. I mean, I could sit here and talk sports with Chris all day. It doesn't really matter. I was going to say it's because you guys, we do it, but actually I just like talking sports with Chris. Anyways, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. If you're buying picks today, by all means, you don't have to buy, but if that's your thing, use the discount code AUG15. Get 15% off all month long. Whether you're buying one of our $15 plays, whether you're buying a monthly package, yearly package, our 2-for-1 capper package, Chris's college football, NFL football, college basketball, hockey.
It's all there, PickDawgz.
Slingo.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's my Slingo package. All Slingo. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you.